Oldest trophy in motorsports history. And so when you win that, that's significant because there's been so many great people before that have won it. So this would be, I think, a real capstone to a racing career for us. Not to say a lot of prize money.
Well, the Gold Cup's the biggest race there is on the whole unlimited circuit. And I finished second or third, and every year I've ran it since 1988. And I'd like to make that upper echelon because that'd make a dream come true for me.
Winning the Gold Cup is kind of the ultimate deal. You dream about it when you're a kid, and it even felt out of reach the last few years, but now that it's getting closer, it's getting more exciting, and it'd be the ultimate win.
This is everything. This is the wall for us, and we're going to throw everything at them we own here at the Detroit Gold Cup. That you can be assured of.
You know, winning another one is just as sweet and just as hard-earned and just as meaningful, so it'd mean everything.
The most prestigious event on the Unlimited Hydroplane Series, the American Powerboat Association Gold Cup, today on ESPN Speed World. It's the Daytona, it's the Indy, it's the biggest race of the year for the Unlimited Hydroplanes. It is the Gold Cup, the most prestigious award in all of unlimited hydroplane racing. It's the Detroit River for one of the most treacherous courses the unlimited hydroplanes run. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Detroit. I'm Dick Crippen. This is the scene of the largest single-day sporting event attendance anywhere, probably in the world, but officially in North America. As a matter of fact, it's even entered into the Guinness Book of Records. Why? Because these fans know about unlimited hydroplane racing. They've watched it over the years. They've watched one of the widest turns in unlimited racing, and they've also watched one of the narrowest, the treacherous rooster tail turn. You'll be seeing a lot of action there today. Now, also, it is a clock start race because it is the Gold Cup. We'll be explaining how that works, but it means you just don't come running up there. You have to time your start, and you've got to be in position when that final second ticks off the clock. Now, where are we in the racing today? Let's find out and update it with Steve Montgomery in the pits.
Well, Dick, once again, Chip Hanauer and the Budweiser racing team atop the qualifying ladder, but he does have competition. Mark Tate, the defending Gold Cup champion in the camel-powered Smokin' Joes, right there with him speed-wise, as was Dave Vilwalk in the Pecos American Dream. Yesterday, our first two heats of competition, some good competition, side-by-side racing, and of course the Detroit River, as always, giving everyone a challenge. A couple of teams with concerns. Dr. Ken Muscatel has been making sponson changes on his boat, and some of those changes have come apart in competition. They're working on that problem. And then this morning, the T Plus had some kind of a fire on board during testing, and the team is still trying to figure out what was the cause of that fire. They should be okay for racing today. Chip Hanauer has 9 Gold Cups on his belt. This would be his 10th. It would be a tremendous accomplishment, and he's already way ahead of where he was last year at this time. Jim Hendrick has more on that.
That's right, Steve. Just prior to the very first heat of action of last year's race, the Budweiser driver Chip Hanauer was hurt when the bottom hatch blew in on him. Mike Hansen was in the pits and was available, and he drove a very creditable third-place finish for the Budweiser crew. The race was eventually won last year by Smokin' Joe's and Mark Tate. Now, Mike Hansen, that brings me to the fact that if you hadn't finished third here last year in the Gold Cup and won at Dallas, Budweiser would not be the world champion last year.
Well, it was a real honor to have the opportunity to drive for the Budweiser race team and Bernie Little. Ever since I was a little child watching boat races, they were my heroes, and unfortunately, we were behind the 8-ball when we lost all the heats when Chip got all the points when Chip got hurt in the heat, and you know, we couldn't make the final in the front row. Otherwise, it might have been a different story. But to be part of the Budweiser's National Championship was a neat thing for me.
Now you have a new sponsor in Jasper Engine Transmission on the Madison boat.
Yeah, it's a fantastic opportunity for us. We only got to run the Madison race last year due to the fact of lack of sponsorship, but the Jasper engines and transmissions people came on board for the Eastern Tour here, and we're ready to go boat racing at a competitive level.
Bernie Little, who's always ready at a competitive level, had some help on his dock earlier this week in the eternal search for more power.
And listen to these. Press that.
Of course, you recognize Tim Allen, comedian and motorsports enthusiast.
Big structure that goes all the way through. You guys have built these before.
I would have loved to take it for a ride. No, it's real tight in there, but I drove a tank for home improvement recently, and it's very similar turbine, but it's a little slower. But it's also got a 105mm howitzer on it. See if the boat can do with that.
Well, they've ruled out the cannons for today on this course. The Gold Cup from the Motor City when we continue.
Situated across from the pit area and an integral part of Gold Cup history. Dick Crippen set out earlier to look back in time.
I wish each and every one of you would have the opportunity to come down on a fog-shrouded morning here in Detroit and stand by the river's edge to feel the ghosts of unlimited hydroplane racing come forward. They can tell some great stories. For instance, one of the most famous drivers in unlimited history drove this boat. See on the tail fin? Guy Lombardo. Well, to steal some words from him that he's made synonymous with New Year's Eve, should old acquaintance be forgot? I think not. Not old acquaintances like this boat, the Harris Tahoe Miss. For sure, some of the stories would be about Gar Wood. After all, he's the man most Detroiters would tell you really was responsible for bringing unlimited hydroplane racing to Detroit. He was not only a racer, he was also Commodore of the Detroit Yacht Club, which to this day sits right across from the pit area for the Unlimiteds. Some of the boats, how about the Miss Pepsi? Or the Miss America? Or the Miss Sue? My Gypsy has a lot of history behind it. The Miss Thriftway. Here's the Gold Cup ribbon. You know, that ribbon has gone to a couple of Detroiters. In modern-day history, Tom Deeth won it, and Mark Tate. History, tradition, it's all what makes Gold Cup racing in Detroit very special.
4 preliminary races were run yesterday. Now let's look at the highlights. First, Heat 1A.
And Jim, a reminder to the fans, yesterday was a foggy day in Detroit, and it was late clearing off. In the lineup, Miss Budweiser, driven by Chip Hanauer. Pico's American Dream, Dave Vilwalk piloting. T+, Steve David, the driver. Miss APBA, Jerry Hopp. Miss Bell Tire, Ken Muscatel, who incidentally made some significant changes to his boat. Steve Montgomery talked with him earlier.
Well, guys, this is the number on Dr. Ken Muscatel's boat. You can see that it's U14, and the unusual thing here is that his number has been 55 as long as he's had this boat. Number changes are very rare in this sport. Now, Doctor, being the vintage historian that you are, this probably has some historical significance?
Well, I have historical significance as well. I have the old Miss America 8, and this is one of Gar Wood's numbers. However, that's not the reason we made the change. It only occurred to me afterwards. Our sponsor in the West Coast, which is Computer and Applications, which includes Epson, Color Stylus, printers, believed that the 55 number was bad luck. And frankly, after our experiences at Phoenix and here on Wednesday and Thursday, I'm inclined to agree with them. So 14 it is, and 14 it'll stay.
Back on the course, this was a great preliminary match yesterday. As you can see, deck to deck between the Pico, driven by Dave Vilwalk, and this boat to Miss Budweiser. Miss Budweiser now on the left of your screen at center. The red boat goes streaking by, but you can see Pico's American Dream is not letting him have any room at all. Dave Vilwalk is staying tight on his inside.
And the first lap, Pico's American Dream yesterday was the fastest lap of the day, 155.817, as Pico comes across the line first in lap number 1 with Budweiser second, and the T+ running third, and the water down in the number 3 corner, very rough, Dick.
And as we can see, both drivers had to depend on each other going through those turns. Both of them really looking to each other to hold their own lane so one boat didn't veer into another boat. The Pico's American Dream on the right of your screen. That's the blue and white boat, Dave Vilwalk. On the left is the red Miss Budweiser, also known as the Red Rocket. Chip Hanauer driving that boat now has taken about a boat and a half to 2 boat length lead over the Pico's American Dream. Tight around the rooster tail turn. Chip Hanauer handling beautifully in the second lane. Still on the inside and riding very tight on the buoys is Pico's American Dream. Let's concentrate on the Miss Budweiser. This is a race run yesterday, so we already know the results on it. We want to concentrate now on the strategy these boat drivers use in the unlimited hydroplanes. The Miss Budweiser on the left of your screen gets a little bit light in camera. You can see in the boat how the horizon started to disappear. He got off it just in time. Once that horizon is gone, it is all over. The Miss Budweiser in the lead. Pico's American Dream to the right of him on the inside. You can see the rooster tail of a slower boat that has been told to be on the inside. That's Jerry Hawk in the Carpenter Communications Presents APBA boat. Vilwalk gets a little bit loose, but now watch. As the Miss Budweiser goes by Jerry Hop on the left, it leaves Dave Vilwalk really no place to go. He gets water into the engine. As he tried to go back out to the outside to lane number 2, he takes even more water. He goes dead in the water, does not finish the race in second. He gets third. Miss Budweiser is first, followed by the T+. Disappointed, Pico's American Dream, but he knows it's all legal and good.
Bernie, that's a lot better start than last year.
It sure is, and thank goodness Chip was out there running real good this morning, and I think you're going to see some really good boat racing here for the Gold Cup today.
Chip, first of all, they got you out into lane 3, not where you wanted to be.
Yeah, my starting clock went blank, so I didn't know where I was. So I had to, kind of feel my way around, and, that hurt. Hopefully we can fix the clock so I can know where I'm at next time. So I feel happy with the start, considering I had no clock.
Ken Muscatel, the driver and owner of Miss Bell Tire, changed his number for luck. He had no luck. He busted his sponson in the very first turn. He's at the end of a tow rope. Gold Cup is special to a native year's winner, Smokin' Joe driver Mark Tate.
Basically, I'm a third generation. My grandfather started racing at a very young age. Got my dad involved and then myself, and it's just been a family tradition for us. Me and my dad are still active racing. My dad got a ride in the Smokin' Joe's here 2 weeks ago in Seattle, which was a lifetime dream for him, and it was very thrilling for me to see that opportunity to come true for him.
Mark's dad, Joe, drives Unlimited Lights normally. This past weekend, taking a ride in the vintage Hydro, the Chrysler Queen. But racing boats for the Tate clan isn't gender-specific. Just ask Mark's wife, Sandy.
I drove, and I had a great time. I started when I was 16, and really enjoyed myself, and that's how I met Mark.
Detroit's home for Mark Tate, and racing on native turf has some advantages.
Not only is it thrilling and exciting for Mark Tate to have the opportunity to race in front of his hometown and his family, friends, and win a Gold Cup, but it also is very beneficial in the business world. Everybody wants to meet you. Everyone wants to talk to you in the business aspect, and it's been a great door opener for me. So it brings a lot of pluses to me to have such a race of a magnitude as this in my hometown. And for me to be behind the wheel of the Smokin' Joe Unlimited, it means everything to me. I enjoy it tremendously. I enjoy the competition. I enjoy the team concept. I enjoy working with a sponsor. I enjoy the fans. The fans are just tremendous in boat racing. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have a job and we wouldn't be here.
And as you might imagine, time is a very precious commodity on a racing schedule for a driver. However, Mark makes family a top priority.
My family supports me tremendously, not even from my immediate family, my 2 boys, Brent and Andrew, my wife Sandy, but my mom and dad. They travel to a lot of the races as a family, and it's always been a family sport for us, and I think that's really good for me to be away from home, and when things go bad, I always have my family there for support and backing.
I don't think if the kids were as interested, or myself, that it would be as much fun, and certainly probably not for Mark. That's what keeps him going.
Despite some setbacks like a blowover at the '93 Seattle race in the Winston Eagle, the 2 Gold Cup wins he has are indeed special.
This year is the 5th anniversary from the first Gold Cup I won in '91, and plus it gives me an opportunity to win 2 in a row. 2 things that are very special to Mark Tate, and I'm going to do everything in my power, and my team's going to give me a great boat, and we're hoping to win this thing again.
Well, Mark had his hands full, Dick, during yesterday's Heat 1B. More from rough water than from Mark Evans in the wellness plan, who was his stiffest competition. As we look at Mark Tate coming around the final turn to win Heat 1B in the Smokin' Joe's at an average of 148.026 miles per hour. Results of Heat 1B, Smokin' Joe's, the wellness plan, Miss DOC Jasper Engine and Transmission, and the Miss DOC AccuView. Win or lose, drivers always come back to report to the crew and their bosses in a debriefing session.
Now Eagle Snacks Performance Corner with Ron Brown.
The egg-shaped 2.5-mile Gold Cup race course in the Detroit River is a major challenge to all the Unlimited teams. At the far end of the race course, you have the Belle Isle turn. It is the fastest and the biggest turn on the Unlimited circuit. The skid fin plays a very important role. The size of the skid fin, the placement of the skid fin, and the shape of the skid fin helps get the Miss Budweiser to such a large turn. As we're exiting the Belle Isle turn, we are now on the mile-long straightaway. We will see speeds in excess of 200 miles an hour. The aerodynamics become an important role. It's a canard wing like this that Chip has control to change the attitude of the boat at any time. Entering the Rooster Tail turn, which is our tightest turn also on the racing circuit, creates another whole new challenge. And accelerating from that turn to the finish line is certainly a very crucial point for us. Engine selection, gear ratio, and propeller all play an important role in accelerating the Miss Budweiser to the finish line. And let's not forget, this is the Gold Cup. It's a clock start. We don't have lane choice. Chip's going to have to go out there and fight for his lane. We don't know what that lane will be until Chip chooses that at the start of the race.
The T-Plus owner and driver discussing strategy. We'll have more coming from the APBA Gold Cup in Detroit. A lot of cooperation from city event coordinators and Coast Guard to hold a race like the prestigious APBA Gold Cup here in Detroit. But what does it mean to some corporations that are heavily involved in motorsports? That's a question Steve Montgomery was asking.
Here in the Budweiser camp, the owner, the driver, and the sponsor are all in pursuit of an unprecedented 10th Gold Cup. Robin Bragg is with us from Budweiser in St. Louis. And Robin, even with all of Budweiser's victories in every form of racing, 10 Gold Cups I know has your attention.
Oh, Steve, we're so glad to be here with the Miss Budweiser. We've won Indianapolis 500s. Our baseball teams won world championships. All of our motorsports, Kenny Bernstein set world records. And now with Miss Budweiser, we're here to do it again.
Somewhere in St. Louis, you got to have a big trophy room full of hardware, and still the corporate intensity doesn't let up at all.
Steve, you know who's got those trophies. Bernie's got them back in Lakeland, and he's the one that keeps the intensity up on this team with Chip Hanauer and our great crew chief, Ron Brown. And Miss Budweiser is sure to give a good show today, I hope.
Speaking of corporate backing, Mark Tate out of Wayne, Michigan, racing in his hometown, the defending Gold Cup champion, in pursuit of his third, has no less than one of the biggest names in motorsports in his camp, R.J. Reynolds. And T. Wayne Robertson is with us from Winston-Salem. I know number 3 would be as exciting for you as number 10 would be for the guys in red.
Well, I know winning the Gold Cup is something that's very nice for R.J. Reynolds. And, you know, we've had that in our lobby for 2 years with the Winston Eagle and now with Smokin' Joe. And we're very proud of our association here. And winning it for the 3rd time would be great. We're involved in a number of motorsports. But I got to tell you, winning a trophy that has the heritage back to 1904 is especially special for all of us at R.J. Reynolds. And we'd enjoy to display that in our lobby again.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious it's not all just business. There's a lot of pride that goes into it. And those two boats, Miss Budweiser and Smokin' Joe's, faced off against each other in Heat 2A. Miss Budweiser, the red rocket going by on your screen there in the lead. Mark Tate trying to maneuver the Smokin' Joe's up into position. Miss Budweiser handling the rough water, and look at this turn one more time. Watch as the Miss Budweiser goes through and takes the bounces.
Then it was Smokin' Joe's turn a half a lap later out of the Belle Isle Bridge turn.
This water is really presenting some interesting driving strategies for these drivers. They've got to keep their speeds up while they still fight it out. And I'm sure that Chip Hanauer was looking back constantly in that rearview mirror, his little tiny rearview mirrors on the sides of his boat, to see exactly where the Smokin' Joe's was, and probably raced just fast enough to stay ahead. But you can see his boat is so light on the water. That's more than really walking sponson to sponson. As he takes the checkered flag in that heat, he was happy to have it over. It was a tough one. Miss Budweiser finishing first, Smokin' Joe's second, T-Plus third, followed by Miss DOC and the Miss Bell Tire.
And that win had the Miss Budweiser camp pumped up real high.
Yep, everything okay?
They had some rough water in 2A, and Heat 2B, more rough water. Mike Hansen in the Jasper boat had his hands full on the backstretch. Makes a valiant attempt to catch Dave Vilwalk, who had the lead in Pico's American Dream. The Rooster Tail turn put a damper on the wellness plan driver, Mark Evans. Chances for a heat win as he plowed a bunch trying to stay tight on the inside. Vilwalk, meanwhile, posts a top average speed of 147 miles per hour in the first lap. The Detroit River on the rough side for the first 4 heats out here, and that is not unusual, Jim, for this river.
You're right, Dick. A very tough course to negotiate. They have to get those all-important points to get into today's final winner-take-all heat. Pico's American Dream currently in 3rd in the point standings.
And it'll be the top 6 point standing boats that will go into the final heat for the championship and the Gold Cup. We'll be ready to start Heat 3A when ESPN Speed World continues from the Motor City of Detroit. Hendrick and Steve Montgomery welcoming you back to Speed World from Detroit, where they close the streets in front of the Hydroplane Museum, where Dave Bartis throws his second annual welcome party. Some historic Gold Cup hulls reside in there, as well as the engines that powered them. A lot of history there, and a lot of history about to be made on this Detroit River course as Heat 3A, aiming at the Gold Cup, takes the start.
Miss Budweiser, Pico's American Dream, Miss DOC, Carpenter Communications, Jasper Engine and Transmission. That's your competition as they come down and we look inside the cockpit of Miss Budweiser in the big turn number 1.
And it looks like some rough water is out there again today, although the skies have cleared beautifully over Detroit. We'll see how the water conditions affect these boats. Miss Budweiser in the lead. Pico's American Dream to the driver's right-hand side. He's coming up on the outside, and that was good competition in yesterday's races, as you saw. The rest of the boats, Jasper's going by there, along with Carpenter's Communications, presents Miss APBA and the Miss DOC. But there's the battle up front. The Miss Budweiser to the right of your center, and the blue boat is Pico's American Dream.
As they start lap number 3, they're first and second respectively, followed by the Jasper Engines and Transmission in third place. Mitch Evans and DOC in fourth. Jerry Hoppen, the Miss APBA, is currently running fifth.
And the Pico's American Dream appears to be trying to find some good water out there. Miss Budweiser still fighting the waves as she goes around out of the turn. About a 5-boat length lead for Chip Hanauer. He gets a little bit light out there. You'll remember from the replays of yesterday's races we just went through earlier in the show that the Miss Budweiser had to fight it around. She was taking water across the bow several times. But as you can see, as she completes the lap, things are going well for Chip Hanauer and crew. Oh, boat over! Boat over. Jasper's Engines and Transmissions from Madison, Indiana. Mike Hansen. What a sad break for this team. They finally get back out onto the circuit, finally get a good sponsor on the boat, and it goes over in its first appearance.
At Dick, this boat went over in the smoothest part of the course before it blew over. Mike Hansen, the driver, has an air mask. He's still inside that boat right now. The rescue boats are on the way. Let's go down to the docks, and Steve Montgomery, who's with the commissioner, Bill Donor.
The URC rescue team is already with Mike Hansen. Bill Donor, I believe, already has some word on his condition.
He's all right. He's out on the deck. That's the good news, Gunn. We hate to see that happen in the first heat here today, but Mike's out, and that's the important thing.
Thanks, Bill.
We get a report initially that Mike seems to be in very good condition. We'll get a little bit more on that a little bit later on. Meanwhile, the rescue crews continue to work. Let's take a look from the helicopter, and you can see exactly what happens. The boat starts to climb a little bit, gets a little bit of altitude on the front end. Watch the front end. There you see it. Now, at this point, he's really past the point of no return. The skid fin has left the water. The boat's free flying right now. It's starting to kite. It goes up and over, but we're getting a report. Only minor injuries.
And because they have completed 3 of the 5 laps, by rules, the heat is official. Miss Budweiser is the winner. We're looking at our second place boat being towed back. That was Pico's American Dream. In third place, it is the Miss DOC, followed by Miss APBA. And of course, the Jasper boat was disqualified and was upside down, is being towed back right now, and they'll have to have extensive repairs.
That's right, and we'll be back with more action. Heat 3B and an update on Mike Hansen in a moment. Welcome back to Gold Cup Racing in the Motor City of Detroit. Now, the Jasper Engines and Transmissions boat went over, but that is not the only boat that sustained damage. Look at the right sponson of the Miss Budweiser. Let's get an update on Mike Hansen.
We're in the medical center with Mike Hansen. Michael, how you feel?
Oh, a little stiff and sore, but other than that, I'm fine.
What happened?
Not real sure. It must have been a gust of wind. We really didn't hit any rough water. I was far enough behind that I pretty much relegated my position to being third. I wasn't going to be able to catch Dave Vilwalk or the Budweiser team, either one. So we were just kind of backpedaling, going to finish the next lap and a half, and all of a sudden the front end started to come up. I stood on the canard pedal as hard as I could to try to bring it back down, and hovered for a while, and all of a sudden the right side started to climb, and away it went.
A lucky driver, to put it mildly. Here's the start of Heat 3B. Smokin' Joe's T-Plus engine treatment, the wellness plan, Miss DOC AccuView, and the Miss Bell Tire. Already the Miss Bell Tire's got a problem, out of the race, so Ken Muscatel will take it from the sidelines.
And the Smokin' Joe is smoking as we look from the T-Plus, the second place boat, trying on the inside to catch up to Mark Tate on the back chute of this Detroit River.
Good racing, and the rough water seems to have subsided just a little bit. Look at the smooth ride Mark Tate is getting. The hometown driver. A lot of fans here in Detroit rooting for Mark. There's the T+. Steve David out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He is really pushing that boat, the T+, trying to catch up, taking a little bit of the rooster tail over the bow of the boat. He's going to have to be careful with that. Too much water getting into that turbine will shut it down.
And the first lap speed, the fastest of the 2 days for this boat, Smokin' Joe's at 156.959 as we look at the wellness plan with Mark Evans currently in 3rd place.
Mark Evans doing a fine job of handling that boat, incidentally. It's riding very well for him. There you can see 1, 2, 3, and it's pretty tight up front. The T+ trying to close it in on the outside, taking the outside groove. He's going to ride a little bit further and maybe a little bit rougher, as you just saw there. Clean water for the Smokin' Joe's. Mark Tate, as he looks ahead out of his cockpit, you see the sight. Watch as he goes around the turns with the boat on the outside flying high. The T+ getting a little bit too much air underneath. But I'll tell you a secret. As long as I've known Steve David, and I've known him since he was about 16 years of age, he always drives a boat light. Some of the drivers just like to put the boat on the edge. Here's the checkered flag coming around now for the Smokin' Joe's. Another step for the defending champ in the Gold Cup Racing Series. Smokin' Joe's is first, followed by T+, the Wellness Plan in 3rd. The Miss DOC AccuView and the Miss Bell Tire did not start. And you can be a part of all the exciting racing action by joining the Unlimited Racing Commission Winner's Circle. Call the number on your screen to become a member. You'll get the media guide, a patch, newsletters, and if you call right now, this limited edition Unlimited t-shirt. And as a special bonus, we'll throw in Diamond P Sports home video Thunderboats just by calling and signing up. So make that call today. Now let's go down to Steve.
You look pretty stable on that back chute.
Yeah, I got high the first time down the back chute. It was a new boat setup for today. Even from our earlier test runs today, we changed the boat a little bit. We're just trying to dial this thing in and make darn sure that we're prepared for the final, because the water's going to be plenty soppy.
400 points, guys.
Yeah, that's good. We love that. We need those points. It's a long season, and we got to get as many of them we can as quick as we can.
And the Miss Budweiser wants to get more points, too. They're busy repairing that boat, that big hole in the right spots. And meanwhile, the draw for the 4th heat. This is the draw for the boats for the final round of heats leading to the Gold Cup. Mike Hansen, well, he won't be in the heats. He'll be watching from the sidelines, just a little stiff. We'll be back in a moment. For Detroit, Michigan, the APBA Gold Cup for Unlimiteds. This is Dick Crippen along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery. Heat 4A is about to start. As we look coming around, we've got the boats. Oh, there's 2 boats close on the right of your screen. They hit together. It looked like the Miss DOC AccuView and Smokin' Joe's. DOC AccuView spun out Scott Pierce, so he will not be coming up on the start line. Meanwhile, the green flag goes out to the Miss Budweiser. Smokin' Joe's, a great recovery by Mark Tate, now holding into 2nd place on the inside. He's got to be a little bit shaken up by that, though, being hit out there. He doesn't really know what the damage is to his boat, Jim.
And the fact is that the accident just prior to the start, Dick, knocks off his timing. And remember, timing is important in the Gold Cup because you run on the clock there. As we look at the Budweiser in 1st place, coming off of corner number 2 down the back chute, followed by the Smokin' Joe's. It's Mitch Evans and Miss DOC 3rd. Scotty Pierce is rerunning, and in DOC AccuView is now currently in 4th place.
Good race, good water conditions out for the Miss Budweiser. Chip Hanauer looks through the camera there, and you can see a beautiful, beautiful ride. He approaches the turn, he cocks the wheel, the boat responds beautifully. You don't see a lot of bouncing around. That's important, but you do see some movement on that front wing as he plays with it a little bit to keep the attitude of the boat perfect. Yesterday, the water was very rough on the river. It's calmed down to make a great day of racing. There's your 2nd place boat and the defending champion, Smokin' Joe's. Mark Tate, who, as we said earlier, is from the Detroit area. He's got a lot of fans urging him to push it just a little bit harder. He's riding that outside groove. We say it all the time, but just to remind you again, in the outside groove, you have the advantage of higher speeds on the turns especially, but you also are running a longer course. So the inside boat normally is judged to have the advantage. There you can see Scott Pierce coming to the right of your screen now. That's the boat that spun on the start after hitting into the Smokin' Joe's, but he's got the boat back up. Apparently no real damage to that boat. Hopefully, sometimes they sit above the water and they don't realize that there's damage underneath. He's about to be lapped by the Miss Budweiser. Great shot got inside. As you can see, the rooster tail to the left of Chip Hanauer, and he's going to go by Scott Pierce, and Miss Budweiser holds the lead about 4 boat lengths over second place.
Chip Hanauer looking for his 4th consecutive heat victory here in the Gold Cup, and he has not been defeated since the season began. He had a perfect race in his first win in Phoenix, Arizona. Also, as we look inside, the Smokin' Joes running in second place, trying to catch the Bud.
Mark Tate, the defending champion in the Gold Cup racing. This is 5-lap racing whenever they're running in Gold Cup competition. On the second day, which we are today, there's the Miss Budweiser. Chip Hanauer trying to grab another Gold Cup and break that little chain that Mark Tate started again last year. The interval time from Zodiac Sports Watch, 6.1 seconds between first place and second place. A good ride for the Miss Budweiser as she powers through the turns. You can see Chip Hanauer has extremely good control of the boat. A little bit lighter for the defending champion, Mark Tate, in the Smokin' Joes. There's a great shot of the ride for the Miss Budweiser, and instead of going tiptoe back and forth, you can see she's jumping flat out of the water, indicating the water's a lot smoother than it was yesterday.
Look at the crowds around the course. Over 400,000 reported to be on hand here for Gold Cup 95 as we are in to our last lap, and the checker flag is waiting.
Great tradition for the Gold Cup here in the Detroit area, and these fans really know about unlimited hydroplane racing. They've had favorites over the years, and I'll tell you what, the first time that Chip Hanauer won here on the Detroit River in a Gold Cup race, I remember he took the boat around, and I don't think he touched the water more than about 5 times the whole race. He had an unbelievable run on some very rough water. Whoa, speaking of rough water, he got a little bit of it there, as does Mark Tate. He cuts through the rooster tail. You got to be careful with those rooster tails. They're a lot of water, and he's slowing down just a little bit. Here comes the finish now as the Miss Budweiser will take the checkered flag. That's going to be perfection on the day as we go into the championship heat in just a little while to determine this year's Gold Cup winner. Let's take a look at the results of this heat. Miss Budweiser first, Smokin' Joe's second, Miss DOC, then the Miss DOC AccuView, and the Miss APBA. So good racing in Heat 4A.
Let's take a look at the Miss DOC AccuView and the Smokin' Joes as they bump together. Now look at the 2 boats to the right of your screen in the circle. See right there as they come off the apex of corners number 3 and 4, they bump. That knocks the timing of Smokin' Joes off. Let's go down to Steve Montgomery.
Are these 5-lap heats in rough water a little tough on the owner?
I can't stand it. No more 5-lappers. I tell you, that's really something. That water's terrible out there.
Did you know there was a little pushing and shoving back behind you there?
Yeah, it was to my benefit. Somebody, I think Scott Pierce, was already in lane 1. I was in lane 2, and Mark came up in lane 1 also and had no place to go. So I think him and Scott, got into it. I wasn't going to give up my lane 2, so they were both fighting for lane 1.
Okay, you bumped the boat.
Yeah, I don't know if I bumped the boat, but I really feel that the boat bumped me. I established my lane before the one point down the back chute that you were, and we got it in the corner, and Scotty just seemed to come across and hit me. And when he hit me, it kind of screwed me up for the rest of the start. Took a little boat speed away, and I de-excelled and wanted to make sure the boat was okay. And it cost us a start, but we had a great boat race. We chased Budweiser. We were chasing hard right up to the last turn there.
All right, will the boat be okay for the final?
Smokin' Joe Camel Power Boats will be ready for the final. We're going to put in the big gorilla, and we're going to go get them.
Steve?
Scott, first of all, give us your version of the little hip check here.
Well, I think it was pretty obvious. I mean, I had the lane from down in the first corner, and Mark, insisted on pushing up there, and I left him the plenty of room to go through there. He just got on the throttle, and the boat went sideways on him, and he just kind of crawled up over the front of the boat. And I mean, it was in front of about 50,000 people. I think it was pretty obvious what happened.
We get ready now for Heat 4B, and Dave Vilwalk is already getting into the driver's seat, checking everything out. We'll be back to check him out in just a moment. We continue the countdown to the Gold Cup Final Championship race later this afternoon, but right now we can see some preparations for that race as the Miss Budweiser installs what they call the best bullet, the big engine. They're putting it in and getting the boat ready. Out on the course, the boat's readying for Heat 4B, the T+ among them, and down on the dock with owner Jim Harvey is Steve Montgomery.
Jim, you got no Tate, you got no Hanauer. You going to make a run at Vilwalk?
We've changed the setup for this heat, trying to get ready for the final and trying to set the boat settle the boat down. And if it feels good to Steve, he'll make a run at it.
Four boats in Heat 4B. Pico's American Dream with Dave Vilwalk, Steve David in T-Plus engine treatment, Mark Evans in the wellness plan, and Ken Muscatel in Miss Bell Tire.
And they all look good at the start of this race. It looks like the Miss T-Plus is going to be the one to battle the Pico's American Dream as they come down side by side. It is T-Plus just barely in the lead by about a nose on the outside of the turn. On the inside, Pico's American Dream holding tight. Now you'll watch, he'll pull up and even it up on the back stretch. Both of these drivers fully aware that this is their final opportunity to garner points to get into the final heat later today, which will determine the Gold Cup Championship.
As they approach the Yacht Club turn down here near the Rooster Tail, it's still T-Plus engine treatment with a slight lead on the outside. Second place on the inside is Pico's American Dream as he hangs it on the hook. The Rooster Tail rises, and a slight lead now for Pico's American Dream as he has the inside and is taking over the lead.
We've said many times that the inside boat has a slight advantage because although the speed is kept up on the outside lane, it is the inside lane that runs a smaller course. There you see Pico's American Dream's Rooster Tail off the left center of the T-Plus. As now Stephen David sees what he has to do. He's got the power on, but where all of a sudden has Dave Vilwalk found the extra power for Pico's American Dream? It was neck and neck at this point in the first lap. Now they are separated. Look at Steve David try to come up on the outside. The outside boat can keep the speed high, but he has really got to be very mindful of the water that lays ahead. This is a river that can bite. It was biting all day yesterday. It has started to roughen up just a little bit up there as Steve David goes a little bit on the wide side, out of the turn, comes back through and into the Rooster Tail.
Third place right now is the Wellness Plan with Mark Evans and Ken Muscatel and Miss Bell Tire currently running in fourth.
Dave Vilwalk still doing a good job of driving. He's got the Pico's American Dream under control. You know, Jim, that boat has been running better and better. They kind of picked it up from last season. He really had a very good race out in Phoenix, finishing third in the overall pack, but did a very good job out there, and it showed a lot of good speed, and it was matched out against the T-Plus.
Sure, and he won 2 races in a row last year, Seattle, and then went on to San Diego. But today, like Bernie Little said, it's an ocean out there. They're really fighting the course.
Well, it looks like they've got it under control. The toughest ride is going to the T-Plus right now. He has moved into the wake trying to pick up that smooth water. Really, at this point, he just has to go for the points to make it into the final heat, and that's really all he's looking for. Nobody wants to break up equipment. If somebody else has established a very solid lead, you might as well lay it back just a little bit. If you see an opening, then you capture it. But now you can see Dave Vilwalk is starting to lap the field.
Team secrets. They don't show everybody all their tricks in the preliminary heats that have lasted yesterday and today. They'll wait for that winner-take-all final, which, of course, is coming up here on ESPN very shortly.
And, of course, we refer back to Bernie Little, who was putting into the Miss Budweiser the best bullet, as they like to call it. We don't even know if we've seen that engine on this course.
And Mark Tate's got his Gorilla.
That's right. So we've got quite a collection coming out there. A little bit of a zoo, if you will, for the final heat. That'll be the Gold Cup. Look at the ride of Pico's American Dream. And we have a little race for second and third out there right at the moment.
Yeah, and that'll be the Wellness Plan challenging the T-Plus as they come down to this final lap. And the checker flag is waiting for the Pico's American Dream with Dave Vilwalk. Here's our second place boat, the T-Plus. Third is the Wellness Plan.
Boy, look at these fans as they root him home. Dave Vilwalk takes the win in Heat 4B in Pico's American Dream, and that will lift his spirits.
And he'll make the final, as will the T-Plus, and the Wellness Plan makes the final with their showing here today.
Now, not all of the action was limited to the unlimiteds. As a matter of fact, we had some unlimited lights who took the course and did some pretty good action. The final race, the final laps, let's take a look. And there you can see the Bob Thibodeau Ford Special, Al Laportemeyer's boat, out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, driven by Mike Mamano from Upper New York State. He is battling number 7, Tate Dudley, in the Pride of Detroit. So we've got another hometown boat that may be a winner out here today if Tate Dudley can move up on the inside. But look at how these Budweiser's boats. They're much smaller and much lighter. They go about 22 feet and are pushed by better than 400 cubic inches, so they can really fly across the water and sometimes upwards of about 140, 145 miles an hour. So they're nothing to laugh at. Mike Mamano, look at him go, and he battles the water. Oh, my goodness gracious, number 7 is breaking up. Number 7, Teddy Dudley, apparently breaking up. The sponson is destroyed. Mike Mamano takes the checkered flag. Teddy Dudley will sit and wait for the tow. Let's go down to the Pico pits.
Larry Wisney, you look like a happy sponsor right now.
Well, it was a great race, and actually we're excited about the finals now. Budweiser's been tough, but we think we can challenge them, I'm sure.
David, how's the boat ride? Are you ready for the final?
It's good. It's going to be rough, but luckily we've got some good propellers. That was a Pico propeller that was built right here in Detroit, and it's been a long time since we've had some good equipment built here in Detroit. So, we're going to take that same equipment and then all the rest of it, the people that are here to help us, and use that fan support to push us to a win in the final, hopefully.
Good luck, guys.
Thanks a lot.
And we get ready for the final, the Gold Cup Championship, to be determined next. Down in the Budweiser pit, a couple of friendly rivals getting together to kind of wish each other well. May the best team win. Along with Jim Hendrick and Steve Montgomery, as a crowd of over 500,000 await the start of this Gold Cup final.
Chip Hanauer hopes to continue his perfect ways in his 2 days of action in the finals in Miss Budweiser. Big challenge should come from Mark Tate in the Smokin' Joe's, the defending champion. Don't count out Dave Philwalk in the Pico's American Dream. Likewise, action comes from Steve David in the T-Plus engine treatment. Mark Evans in the Miss Wellness Plan showing very well. And in the trailer position, it'll be Mitch Evans in the Miss DOC.
Good field of boats as we get ready for the Gold Cup final. Mike Hansen standing on the shore, not where he planned to be, but his boat has got some damage to it. They were not able to get it back in. There are the boats out on the back stretch now as they jockey for position. Remember, this is a timed start, which means they come up on the clock as the final second ticks away. They start. Was there engine problems with Mark? No, Mark is getting it going again.
Mark Tate, though, I'll tell you right now, he went dead in the water. He came up between two boats, and he got off of it, and the engine killed. He has to restart. He's going to be late at the start. Oh, what a bad break for Steve Boomer and the Smokin' Joe team.
He is really going to have to push that boat to get it up there and compete with the Miss Budweiser, who gets a perfect start on the gun. Chip Hanauer yesterday was complaining about the clock start. It wasn't quite right. Things weren't the way he wanted it. He has been absolute perfection on that clock today. Into the first turn, it is the Miss Budweiser. Chip Hanauer in the lead. Coming up on the inside fast, Pico's American Dream, driven by Dave Philwalk. And the Wellness Plan is also in there. This boat, the T-Plus, in fourth on the outside.
And the T-Plus is now challenging for third as they come out of the boathouse turn and head down towards the Detroit Yacht Club. There's your leader, the Miss Budweiser. He is the leader in the O'Doul's Eagle Stacks High Point Trophy Chase so far in 1995.
As a matter of fact, he has not lost a heat. Now look at how that wing adjusts. Did you see that on the front of the boat? The wing can go up and down. He can adjust that from inside. It's a new idea they had, and it seems to stabilize the boat. Chip is very happy with it. Miss Budweiser is your leader, dominating the field. We expected to see the battle with the Smokin' Joes. They had an engine problem early on, had the engine shut down. He was playing catch-up on the start, and he is still playing catch-up as we are into the laps. As you can see, about 7 to 8 boat lengths back, that would be about 7 or 8 seconds, you've got the Pico's American Dream, and that's the distance between first and second. Still a very good ride for the Miss Budweiser and for Pico's American Dream. Both boats tend to get a little bit light at points on the course, but both of them are landing flat, and they're not having any problem at all. It's a good job of driving by the drivers, who oftentimes, because they get airborne so much, we tend to think of more as pilots than drivers.
Pico's American Dream is currently running second. Here's our third place boat. Nosing in is the T-Plus engine treatment. A bad bounce there. Back inside the cockpit of our leader, the Miss Budweiser. And we still have that battle going on for third between the T-Plus and the Wellness Plan.
And a lot of shockwaves going through the Miss T. Whoa, wow, that one really hit the camera, didn't it? And it looks like something's wrong. He's slowing down. The T-Plus is slowing down on the course. We're not sure what's wrong with the boat, but there you can see the water coming up over the front. You heard a big hit, as we talked about how the camera was jolted. And there you see the boat sitting dead in the water. We'll check on that, see if we can find out what happened. Meanwhile, there's some more lapping going on the course as the second place boat, Pico's American Dream, laps one of the trailer boats. Bernie Little trying to watch from outside. He sees perfection from the Miss Budweiser. There's the wellness plan, riding in third place now. He was in a battle with the T Plus till she went down.
And the T Plus pits reporting that they did lose a prop and it's tore up the bottom of the boat. And that boat, of course, without a prop, will not run.
And here comes the finish, the checkered flag out, the applause from the fans and the pit crew. Chip Hanauer takes the win in the Miss Budweiser. He is undefeated on the entire year, and Bernie Little gets another Gold Cup notch in his belt. Pico's American Dream finishing second place with Dave Vilwalk. Nothing but disappointment for Steve David, driver of the T Plus.
And record wins, number 10 for both the driver Chip Hanauer and the owner Bernie Little. Here's the standings for Gold Cup 1995. Let's go down to the pits and Steve Montgomery.
Chip, you realize with 10 Gold Cups, you have blown away all your childhood heroes.
I just want to stand here, you know, and absorb it all, you know.
Take your time, Chip.
Bernie, you can talk.
I'll tell you one thing. I'm so damn happy I can't stand it. That's 10 for Chip and I both. And we're right in there together, and we're going to stay together. What a job he did, and what a great race it was today in Detroit.
When did you realize Mark would not be there?
Not till about after the, you know, first corner. And I had my hands full with Dave, but, you know, I just want to savor this moment so much. These have been tough years, and to win 10 of these is like nothing I ever dreamed of. And I just want this moment to stand still for a little while.
I think we can all understand that feeling. Here are the O'Douls, Eagle Snacks high points. These are the standings of the boats after the first two events of this racing season. Here's congratulations to Chip Hanauer from the runner-up driver Dave Vilwalk. Now let's go down to the pits and defending champ Mark Tate.
Well, Mark Tate, I understand you're mad at yourself.
Very disappointed in myself. Definitely not a very proud day for me as an individual. You know, all I can really do is apologize to my team and my sponsor, and not make the same mistake again. Learn from it, and just don't de-accelerate as hard as I did, and put the motor back into ground idle, and it shut itself off, and I took us out of the boat race.
Back at the podium, the Gold Cup presentation along with the Gold Zodiac sports watches for the driver, owner, and crew chief of the Miss Budweiser. Join us next as the Unlimited Hydroplanes head for Kansas City, Missouri on Smithfield Lake here on ESPN Speed World. For Steve Montgomery and Jim Hendrick, I'm Dick Crippen. Unlimited Hydroplane Racing is sanctioned by the American Powerboat Association and is a production of Diamond P Sports in association with ESPN.